Hi gorgeous souls, and welcome to our Solar Conversation number 64. If this is the first conversation you're tuning in, here's a little introduction. My name is Annika. I'm a soul-led healer, a soul-led artist, a witch, a spiritual midwife, a coach. There are many names for what I do, a truth teller. And what I do here on my Facebook page is that I tune in from Monday to Friday and do a solar conversation. What does that mean? I meditate, I go into myself and connect to my soul, and from that place I channel whatever wants to come through. So over the last couple of days, I have been asked to speak up about how I deal with the suicidal thoughts that I have had for over a decade now, and that pop up almost daily. And over the last decade and a bit, I have collected a lot of tools how to deal with them. In 2007, I tried to kill myself twice while being in a clinic in a psychiatry. I didn't succeed. I survived, obviously. I'm here, right? But that didn't mean that my suicidal thoughts went away. So I tried to make this more complicated as it is. I thought like, oh, maybe I do a webinar and whatever, and I tried to push it out and leave myself some space to get used to the idea. But today, in this morning's meditation, it became very clear that it needs to happen right now. I don't know if there's somebody out there who needs this information right now, today, or if there is somebody you need to share this information with. But here is my experience, what I dealt with, and what helped me massively in dealing with suicidal thoughts popping up. Right? So the first thing that I want to share is that when we get anxious, so anxiety normally comes up, like mental illness in itself is, for me, more a sign that people are waking up and seeing what they have done, like what they would have done differently in the past. There's a lot of regret and overwhelm once you spiritually awake, like you get aware of that you are more than just this body. And so you get aware of that you're actually a soul having a human experience with this body as your vehicle. And so then of course a choice comes in, and that is the valid choice of suicide, ending your own life to maybe get a better shot next time, or whatever that is that motivates you. For me, the motivation behind my 2 suicide attempts was that I felt like a burden. I felt like a massive burden, and I didn't want to be that burden. And so if you have a loved one who shared with you that they are having a hard time and they are having suicidal thoughts, one way to react to that is to make them feel loved. And that's very difficult sometimes, because sometimes the person who is in that dark space and has these suicidal thoughts isn't even open to receive love. And here comes into place that you, whatever you do, give it your all, give it your best, give it the best you can in that moment with the knowledge you have. What helped me massively in the time after my suicide attempts was first my great aunt, who was there and showed up every week on Wednesdays in like when there was lunchtime at the clinic, she would come and she would pick me up. She got, like, it's the aunt of my mother, and she would show up. She would collect me. She would ask me if I was hungry. We would go to her place. We would eat there, and then she loved me unconditionally. There was like, whatever you want to do right now, do it. Do you want to take a nap? Do you want to have a conversation? Do you want to read a book? Whatever you want to do right now, I love you. And I want you to feel seen and heard. So tell me what you want. And that was my lifeline. That was my lifeline. There was one person who actually cared about me. What came then was Dennis, my husband, who saw me and who saw me not as a burden, but as a gift. So, like, being seen as a gift. And if you at the moment don't have anyone in your life who reflects that back to you, that you are a gift, you have valid reason to be here on this planet because your soul chose to be here, then let me tell you, you are a gift. You are a gift to this world, and you have beautiful things to give to this world. When I committed suicide or attempted to commit suicide the second time, I came really close to actually succeeding. I was in a space where I was like drifting between worlds, and I was in that tunnel of light. I know it sounds so cheesy, but it's the only words I have to describe. Like, there was this bright light, and I was already going into it. And then I heard, saw, felt, whatever it was, that there are children to be born and raised. And there's a message to be spread. You can't go yet. And so I pulled back into my body consciously. I chose for a second time in this lifetime to be in my body and have this life experience. That was massive. And so if you don't have somebody at the moment who is reflecting back to you that you're valuable, that you're worthy, that you're loved, and that you are enough in yourself, let me reflect that back to you. Because I know every single person I see out there, no matter if they're awake or asleep, where they are on their spiritual path, in their spiritual growth, no matter where they are, I see their potential and I see how amazing they are, and I just like silently cheer them on and think like, you're so beautiful, you're so amazing, you need to be here on this planet, and I can't wait to see what you're gonna bring to this earth today, tomorrow, this year, in your lifetime. Because I know you have so much in you. So that was one thing that helped me. Somebody who saw me and said, no matter what you do, and if all you can do today is take a nap, I love you. And you're heard, you're seen, you're a gift. The next point that I want to share with you is a massive breakthrough that I had when I realized that I am not my thoughts, and nor am I my emotions. I'm the space those thoughts and those feelings go through. Because thoughts are not like, if I'm my thoughts, who is thinking the thoughts, right? So I am not my thoughts. I'm the one thinking them. I'm the consciousness experiencing the emotions. I'm the consciousness putting together the information that comes through my eyes and through my hands and however I experience the world through my nose, whatever. So that awareness that I'm neither my thoughts nor my emotions, I'm the space that holds all of it, that changed things for me, because then my suicidal thoughts, the thoughts of like, what am I doing here? Why am I even here? Why, just let's end it all. I don't want to be here. All these thoughts just became that, thoughts. They were just thoughts, and I could step back and actually look at them and go like, okay, interesting. Not labeling them as good or bad or like dangerous or whatever it is. It's like interesting that I'm thinking this again. And then I can step back and go like, where does it come from? Where are my needs not met? Where do I feel unheard, unseen, not worthy, unloved? Like, what is going on? Where do I feel unloved by myself? Am I treating myself somewhere with less compassion that I would show anyone else in my life? And this is still a practice. I have to be really, really honest. Like in the last year, I had almost daily suicidal thoughts. And then I had to step back and go like, okay, where am I not listening to my own needs? Where am I not giving myself love and compassion? Where am I telling myself things that I would never, never, ever say to someone else, to my children, to my partner, to my parents, to my friends? What is going on actually underneath? So for me, at some stage, the suicidal thoughts and the dark thoughts, the depressive thoughts, became something that I could look at as a sign that something was missing in my life or something was off balance. And making that shift was massive for me. It was really, really massive for me. Also, what I have found, and this is especially important if you're a woman who is menstruating at the moment, what I have found is that these suicidal thoughts come more often, more frequently, and in much higher dosage just before my period. Like in the week, the Wild Woman week I call it. It's the week like you have ovulated, and then there is this week until you start menstruating. Like just a week before I start bleeding, these thoughts come up. Like I quit it all. I want to quit it all. I want to just end this. This doesn't make sense. I'm not up for it. This is too hard. Like all these thoughts come up in that time. So if you are not tracking your menstrual cycle, this can help you. Incredible. Like there is so much information in your menstrual cycle itself. There is when you're bleeding, you're releasing. I call it the wise woman stage, where we just there's flow and there's rest and everything you would allow yourself when you're at the end of your life, and you just sit and knit and do all the tiny, you're completely into tiny details. I do website work in that time, because then I'm up for all the tiny details and doing all the things, And then comes the maiden stage, where after you stop bleeding and you're working your way up to your ovulation, there's so much energy in my life. This is where I am right now. I'm leading up to my ovulation, and I'm I have so much energy and I need to do all the things and I create and I do and I jump here and I'm really social and I love having conversations. And then comes the ovulation, and that's where it peaks is like that's when I want to hug everybody, and I want to throw big parties, and I want to go out and dance, and I'm fine to be seen, and I want to murder everyone around me. And then comes the wild woman stage, and in that wild woman stage, in that week, in the wild woman week of the menstrual cycle, that's when my suicidal thoughts peak. That's when it comes in. That's when I don't want to do anything. I'm on like butting heads with Dennis massively. I'm like aggressive and like, oh, can't stand it. That's when it comes in. And so when my suicidal thoughts come up and they're more intense than normal, like on regular days or whatever you want to call it, I step back and I go like, which day am I on my period, like on my menstrual cycle? Like, where am I right now, and how is it influencing me? And most times when it's very intense and I just want to cave in and hide because otherwise I'm just gonna punch everyone. I'm not punching anyone, I'm just saying that, but I feel like I want to punch everyone. It's normally the days leading up before the release starts, the flow starts, my blood comes in. Another thing that has helped me massively, the lifestyle change that has brought my depression down to like a handful of hours or even days, where it was like dark, like this dark cloud that forms around your head, and you can't, like, nothing, everything is dull and grey. I haven't had that for a longer period of time in the last almost 4 years now. December 2015 was when I made the change to go processed sugar-free. What does that mean? I eat dates, I eat fruit and veggies with sugar. I even eat white bread sometimes. The only thing that throws me off and that messes with my head and throws me back into depression and peaks my suicidal thoughts, my dark thoughts, is when I have sugar, white sugar, cane sugar. Cane sugar especially triggers me. And so it might be not only cane sugar for you, or it might be something completely different that triggers that for you. But I recommend looking at your diet and cutting out systematically and see what changes does it bring, not only for my body but also for my mental health, for my thoughts. Like, how do I feel? Do I feel more energy? Do I feel better? Is it easy to redirect my thoughts? So looking at my diet, and that actually came in meditation. So I started meditating 2013. I started meditating every single day. I dabbled in and out beforehand, but since 2013, so for the last 5 and a bit years, almost 6 years, I meditated every single day. I just have upped it up now to from 20 to 40 minutes to an hour each day, and it's still making a massive difference. But if you never have meditated before, 5 minutes a day. Start small and incrementally step it up. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm stepping it up from 40 minutes to an hour per day, like an uninterrupted hour, which is like not easy with 3 children, but still I'm on day 5 right now, and so far it has worked great. So meditation, yoga has helped me a lot to come back to my breath and come back into the now. Here's why presence plays into this. When suicidal thoughts come up, I can be in the middle of like bringing my kid to bed and going like, I don't want to be here any longer. I don't want to lie here. It bores me. I'm like, why even bother? And then I go like, oh, interesting. Okay, so what do you need, right? Come back to this moment. Find sweetness right where you are. And normally the suicidal thoughts come up when I take the moment that is shitty. In that moment, it feels shitty, and I project it into the infinite future. Like, this is what my life is gonna look like, and there is no change to it. There will never be a change to it. So if you are having dark thoughts, just adding right now to whatever you're experiencing is a shift in conscious language that just helps me every single time. And if I only come back to my breath, go like, right now I'm here. Right now I'm here. There's a gorgeous sky outside. I have the heating on. It's warm enough for me to sit here in my t-shirt. Even though there's snow outside, like really coming back and noticing the things around me and going like, okay, right now this is happening. And it doesn't mean, even if it's shitty, if I'm cold, if I like, Ari is screaming for the last 40 minutes and I'm like, I can't take another minute of this, like, and then it peaks up, goes like, maybe you should just like throw it all away, and I go like, oh, really? Come back to this. Look at her. You wanted this more than anything else in your life. And now you're here. So be here. So that presence, I learned that on the mat, and then I transferred it off the mat into my life. And yoga helped me as a tool to make that change. For the last 3 years, I have done daily yoga. Sometimes it's just one forward fold, halfway lift, forward fold, and up again. And that's all of yoga I do. And there is not a single day I miss it, because my life depends on it. And I can truly say that, right? My life depends on it. Is there anything else I want to share about this? Oh yeah, EFT, tapping, if you have never heard about it. But when you step back and you go like, okay, these suicidal thoughts are coming up. What is underneath? What am I missing? What am I thinking about myself right now? What am I feeling about myself right now? And you get into that feeling, and then you go into tapping. Google it. There are amazing teachers out there. I did my own version of teaching tapping in the Light Maiden Academy. I taught it in my group, the Solar Living with Annika, which is closed now. In the energy shifting workshop, I have talked about this many times. There are beautiful tapping teachers out there. And that helps me shift things when they're really deep and I can't quite grasp them. That helps me. And I need to alternate. Tapping comes into my life like in waves. Like sometimes I do it every single day, and then like after 3 months I'm like, okay, enough tapped. And then it comes again. But to use that tool, you need to be able to step back from the suicidal thoughts, like make that shift of like, okay, these thoughts are not me. I'm not these thoughts. I can step back and actually look at the thoughts and then see what's behind. Anything else? This is not like, I don't have a list that I go through or that I wrote down. I'm just sharing my experience and the things that helped me. Oh yes, okay. Here we go. A couple of days ago, I actually realized that the level of trust I want to live, I even like this, is Cebu for trust. It's there to remind me. I can look on it and actually see like trust, come back to trust. Trust. It's like it. I don't even know how to say this more with more, but it's there to remind me that I trust. I trust in myself. I trust in the signals that my body gives me. I trust in my inspiration. I trust in my spirit guides. I trust in my soul to lead me where I need to go. And I trust in spirit, in source, in the divine, God, the universe. You use your own term that works for you. And then a couple of days ago, I realized that if I fully trust my soul, that my soul has chosen this body for this lifetime as the perfect body to support me in this lifetime. And so this body will get the sign from my soul when it's time to leave this planet. Not my mind, not my ever-changing emotions that run through me. Like you can almost see it as the picture of a window where rain drops on and like slides down and then goes off. The window is my soul, and the emotions and the thoughts, they just run through. They run down and then they vanish. So if I not only believe that, but I trust it, I don't not just know it here, but feel it here, then I can trust that this body will know when to go, and it's not my mind's decision when to leave. And I realized how much time and energy I have spent in the past on this question. Do I stay here today? Do I leave? Do I stay here today? Do I leave? Do I stay here today? Do I leave? Like so much energy, so much time spent on it. I don't need to make that decision. It's a choice as much as eating sugars, drinking alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. It messes with my head and it gets me deep into the dark spaces. Like I have a history before and also around my suicide attempts in 2007, yeah, so 12 years ago. Around that time, I drank too much, way too much, daily. I had too much alcohol, or too much, like whatever that means, but like I had alcohol daily. I plant-based drugs daily, mushrooms, weed. They were part of my life. And both of these things mess with my head. They throw me off. They disconnect me from my soul. They disconnect me from the truth that I'm here because I need to be here. I chose to be here. And so there is this, yes, suicide is a choice. And I, for this lifetime, made the choice or made the decision that it's not an option for me any longer. I made the decision many years ago that alcohol is not an option any longer. That drugs are not an option any longer. 4 years ago, I made the decision that sugar is not an option any longer. And it's still, I fall off once in a while. I fall off and I have to get back on. And now, a couple of days ago, I made the decision that suicide is not an option any longer. That I trust my body to make that decision in divine timing for me. My body decides when I go. And since then, and it has only been a couple of days, so I can't tell you about the effect in the long term, but making that shift in thinking and feeling it, actually my body going like, oh, okay, we're staying here together, we're in this, you're committed. I committed to this life again fully, even though I thought when I pulled back into my body in 2007, my second suicide attempt, when I constantly pulled back because I was like, okay, children to be born, message to be shared. I left that door open. I'm like, I always have the choice. I can always end it all. I can always, like, that was in the back of my head, and that's why the suicidal thoughts kept popping up. To get to this place, I had to deal with a lot of trauma, a lot of experiences that I had in my childhood, my teenage years, that left me with that thought of, I'm a burden, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough. And just now, in the last week, in the last couple of days, I have worked my way up to committing fully, to be fully alive in this lifetime, in this body, as Annika. And so if me sharing my experience helps you in any way, shape or form, I'm glad. I'm happy to be of service, and that is what wanted to come through for the last couple of days. And I was like, I don't want to share it. I just keep pushing it away. And like, I can do it on Saturday, or maybe the Saturday after, or like, you know. So no, needed to be shared as soon as possible with all the information I can give you. Take whatever resonates with you. Leave behind whatever doesn't. That's okay too. We're not all the same. This is just my experience and what helped me. A quick word about, like, if you are having a loved one in your life that shared with you that they are having suicidal thoughts, please share this video with them. Please do your best to love them, whatever that means to you. Love them unconditionally, see them, tell them, I'm here. If there is addiction involved, especially alcohol, drugs, sex, whatever it is, we're like humans. We all have that addictive side to us. So if there is addiction involved and it affects you in any negative way, just tell them. I think what could help is looking at your alcohol consume, or looking at your drugs, like at your drug addiction. And I'm here the moment you're ready for love, for help. I'm here. But I'm not here to see you go down that, because that's enabling them. I'm not here to go down that route with you. At some point, I was so alone that there was no other choice left for me. And now, having made that decision that there is no choice, that I trust my body to make that choice for me, the peace that I envisioned will come with death came with that decision. Deep breath. Wow. I don't know. I meditated for an hour and then I did this live for the last... What? How late is it? I don't know. I don't even know. The last half an hour and Ori is still asleep. So my baby obviously wanted me to share all of this with you. Take whatever resonates. This is real life experience. Wherever you are in your spiritual growth, and if you're just at the start and you've just awakened and your world doesn't make sense any longer and you look back at the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years that you have spent asleep and not realizing that this body is not all we have, don't be too harsh on yourself. Don't look back and go like, I should have. Go right now. I'm here right now. Right now is my chance to be alive, to have this human experience, to be love, give love, receive love, be love. Because remember, you are love, you're loved, you're guided, you're supported. You're the creator of your reality. You live your life for you. And whatever is happening right now for you, it's happening for you, not to you. The universe has your back. And I'm sending you love. So much love and light. And if you have enjoyed this conversation, enjoyed the realness of this conversation, enjoyed the weirdness of this conversation, I don't know. And you want to have more of these conversations, not as a podcast between me and other people who then interview me back on their podcasts and stuff like that, but actually as a community of soul-led women. And yes, I only work with women at the moment. I'm working through my own shit with men, and so I can't be there fully for them, supporting them. There are other people doing that. So I work with women, and I'm bringing into life, I'm birthing right now a community which is called Tuned In, Turned On, Alive, which is starting on the spring equinox on the 21st of March this year. And we're gonna have one of these conversations with each other, not me talking, because that's a monologue, not a conversation. With each other on Zoom, 66 days, every single day, 30 minutes per day. I want to have these type of conversations. I want to have real conversations, deep conversations. How do you feel today? What does it feel to be a mom of 3? And like the whole spectrum of feelings. Let's discuss things. Let's co-create things. Let's share experiences. That's what I'm creating at the moment. And if you feel called to be a part of that community of soul-led women, then please message me, comment underneath. I send you the details. It's 66 days. I will be there every single day for 66 days. 30 minutes of my time, of my precious alone time, will go into this project. And I will show up fully connected, present, and real. And you're gonna be you will be a part of the conversation. You're not gonna listen in as the fly of the wall at the wall. You will have a seat at the table to share real, honest, 5D conversations, how it is about being human. That's me for today. Hi, whoever joined right now. I'm signing off, and I'll see you for the Solar Conversation number 65 tomorrow. Take care, my loves.